Cybercrime has been probably one of the longest-standing elements of the ICE conference program. What were the issues that you talked about today, and how far do they differ from what you've talked about in previous years?
Well, actually, the conference today, it was a bit more wider than it has been. We had the legal side also over there, but the trend in general, it's the same. And unfortunately, we don't know what's going to be the next threat during next 1 year. We didn't know about the mobile gaming. We didn't be prepared for the social gaming either. And social game, that might be something that is in concern of the whole industry, not only from the secure point of view, but mobile. I would say mobile threats, cloud services, data integrity, data protection, anti-money laundering. This year we got the Commission fourth anti-money laundering directive out yesterday, so that is something that we're now concentrating on.
When you're trying to keep up with the fraudsters or indeed play catch up with the fraudsters, what kind of resource is at your disposal in order to try and to achieve that objective?
Co-work, collaboration. We share the information with the other operators and the authorities, and that's the way it goes. We have to be fast. We have to spread the information. If something happens, we share the information.
In the kind of bricks and mortar world, where, for example, at a much lower level, if you have say, for example, a slot machine, a certain brand of slot machine which is being targeted and defrauded, whether that might be in a motorway service station or wherever. Historically, there's been a reticence amongst companies to share information on the basis of the fact that they don't want to acknowledge their weakness. Is that true in the online world as well? Is there a reluctance to share information?
Well, we don't give out details, that's for sure. But on a high level, we do give information because it covers and it protects and secures the whole industry in the end. And it's about the customer. If they lose if they can't trust us, so they won't trust any operator after that. So,
do you think what's the biggest issue? Is it the protection of online players' personal data, or is it the defrauding of the monetary defrauding from sites?
Personal data, definitely. Customers' data is the key asset.
I would imagine with data as well. So excuse my ignorance, but with a brand or a company storing private data, is that brand, is that operator legally culpable if anyone gets hold of that data who shouldn't do? Can they be put in prison for not protecting their data properly?
Yes, that is something that is going to be more stricted now during this year. The new directive of personal data protection is coming out, and that will make a big difference in the data protection technologies.
So just thinking out loud, if you've got XD million people's data with their passwords, then, and if that data is not secured, then potentially cybercrime could be the most lucrative crime in history.
Yeah, it can.
I mean, more lucrative than smuggling Class A drugs.
Exactly. As I told, fraud is a good business, and we have already seen in several countries. Case Sony, for example, 130 million accounts breached. So it happens, and crossing my fingers, it will happen to the gaming as well. Although we are very familiar with those issues, and we're taking care of the data.
What other sectors can you learn best practice from? Would it be from the financial sector, or would it be from? Is there any sectors where their protection of data is more stringent than others, or best case studies?
Actually, the PCI Standards Council's member told in this panel that we are the best practice. Online gaming is the best practice at the moment, and that was very encouraging information. Of course, the technique and the cloud services are coming, and the technique is developing all the time. So we need to create the best practice to be the best all the time. So we can't just lay back and wait and see.
Is there any evidence to suggest that the results of cybercrime have been channeled into, so the money that people have defrauded has been channeled into any sort of like terrorist groups or organised crime or anything like that?
Not in masses, no. I would say, okay, maybe a case or two every now and then, but not in that wide scope. Not that I know. There's no statistic on that.
Because I seem to remember that one of the issues in the States was, it might well have been a folk devil, but they were saying that online gaming, the proceeds from online gaming and from frauds on online gaming was being diverted into Al Qaeda. Is there any evidence?
Yeah, that is, I don't know if it's a legend or not, but that's also one story that I've heard, that it was directed to Al Qaeda through and via different kind of channels. But as I told, it might happen one or two cases every now and then, but not in masses, no.
When we're looking at any kind of country differences, is there any particular sector of the world where there's a concentration of cyber criminals?
I wouldn't say that there would be any particular jurisdictions. It varies on the criminal activity. Card skimmers, there are viruses, chip dumping, attacks, DDoS attacks, etc. It varies a lot. No hotspots in that sense.
What's the biggest sentence that has been handed down to a cyber criminal?
Oh, that is a good question. Definition of cybercrime. Is it a criminal activity done in internet, or is it something else? There has been sentenced in prison for 35 years, but that's in US. I would say that the convictions, they are quite low at the moment in general. Because data breaches, for example, it's not a criminal activity in every country at all. Data theft is not criminal.
So do you think, this is my penultimate question, do you think that the task that you face, and that the industry faces, is it one about prevention, is it one about detection, or is it one of conviction and punishment?
Prevention and detection. These two, I would say. These are the focus that we need to do. And at the same time, when the industry is getting more wide all the time, we have the mobile gaming, we have the social media, we have social gaming, then we have the brick and click, and we're having everything, but we don't have the legislation in place. And my concern is that we are going to end in the same situation with the social gaming, for example, which we had with the internet gaming. Internet game, it doesn't have any high-level legislation, for example. It has been there now for 12 years, 13 years, I would say, and no legislation in place on EU level.